Peloton up 5%.
What's up, disciplined investor?
We got Benzinga CEO Jason Raznick here with us.
The man, the myth, the legend, Tom Nash.
Peter Schiff on the Power Hour with us live today. Interesting, different, unique, innovative companies. Mia, you are live with us on the Power Hour. What's up?
Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Jessica Billingsley, that is the CEO of Akerna, the best trade idea resource out there. Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, hump day, best day of the week. I'm getting an echo, producer Rohan. Hearing myself twice there. There we go, it's gone. But what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, as Mitch and the intro so graciously told you. This is, in fact, the Power Hour, ready to get rocking and rolling today. I'm going to start the day off the way that I start every single day. Which is, why are we here? Why are we spending this time together? I love addressing that one, guys. And it's because we want this to be the best trade idea resource out there. That's what we're going for. We want this to be the 2 hours of ideas. We're going from now till 2 o'clock Eastern. We're going to have ideas coming from myself, from our guests, and most importantly, from all of you out there in Zinger Nation who hang out with us every single day. We have not done it yet this week, so I think it is time to bring some Zinger Nation calls into the fold. So producer Rohan, throw that phone number up there and let's get some dials in, guys. If you want to call in, the floor is yours. 3 minutes, pitch whatever stock you want. If you want to talk through an education thing, we can do that too. But the lines are open for Zinger Nation. Just dial that. We'll get just flowing, guys. In the chat, anybody drop in what sorts of stocks you're looking at today on my radar. I have 4 stocks to pitch. These are not new stocks. These are stocks that I currently hold. They've got upcoming catalysts. I still have conviction in them. I'm not trimming positions or anything along those lines. So I will pitch those 4 names for you there. We have a decent tidbit of news we can start off with. I want to do a recap on some of the things Ripster went over yesterday. So Ripster gave us a couple nuggets. He gave us a couple stocks that he likes right now for swing trades. And then also, more importantly, the first day of April. He really is watching the first day of April to see where the market opens. Use that as an indicator as to how the month will follow. At 12:30 Eastern today, we're bringing on Sylvia from Defiance ETFs. Yesterday, if you will recall, we talked about the new hydrogen power ETF from Direction. We got some good feedback there, and you know how producer AB is. He's fast. When you guys want things, when you like things, he works on getting some more booked. So they'll talk about a couple of interesting 5G funds, energy funds that they have, etc. And then 1 o'clock Eastern, Mark Hess, CEO of ENG Global, is going to be joining us on the Power Hour. And then at 1:30, we're going to be talking with an economist. So nice little well-rounded day, right? We're going to talk some stocks. We're going to talk some news. We're going to talk some economics. We're going to talk ETFs. And so that is what I have up on the agenda. And again, guys, drop your tickers into the chat. I see Jay Towers talking about ticker XL. If you have stocks to look at, put them in the chat. I've got my notepad. I always have my notepad. I'll jot them down and we'll get to them. Other important update. This is day 2 with the new soundboard. There's a folder called Motivation. I have not clicked into this one yet. So I'm going to give this a start.
War face! Ah! That's a war face! Now let me see your war face!
All right, I like it. That one gets a pass. That one gets a pass. But all right, so a couple of interesting news items today. Let's start off by looking at ticker YVR. That's Liquid Media Group. Really interesting situation here. If you guys recall, last week on the Power Hour, we had the CEO on the show, talk to them about their plans for NFTs. And guys, I'm gonna pat myself on the back a little bit for this one, okay? And hopefully you can too. Literally just yesterday, I said that the NFT comments out of YVR were very interesting, because the CEO didn't just say that they are checking out NFTs or they're doing research. The exact quote out of the interview was, "We are figuring out how to integrate NFTs into our business," which I think goes for a lot further than some of these other rumored NFT plays. I did not buy the stock just because I'm too close to the story, right? I have been talking to the company, so I don't want to get involved there or anything along those lines. But literally just yesterday, I said the CEO said they're figuring out how to integrate it into the company. Today, we do have confirmation that the company is getting in on some NFT action, and so stock up 31% there. All right, on the more serious news front, we got some details out of Infrastructure Week. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a chart on Tesla, ticker TSLA. But this is Infrastructure Week for the Biden administration. Something that we now know is that EV charging stations are going to be a part of the big infrastructure plan. So that is bullish, of course, for all of your electric vehicle plays, along with the charging networks and some of those related charging stocks. And, of course, if they're spending any sort of money on infrastructure, it trickles down to some of the more traditional providers like a Caterpillar, materials companies, etc. But, again, the big new piece of information that we got today out of Infrastructure Week is that an EV charging network will be a part of that. That's not something that other administrations had really done in scale. So it'll be interesting to hear how companies respond to that. So stay tuned if you are in the EV stocks. If you're interested in the EV stocks, keep an eye on them this week, especially as we get some more action out of those. Another interesting piece of news. I'm trying to grab news that may have missed people's radars. But another interesting one. Egypt president making some very serious statements. I want to pull up the exact quote here, so give me 1 second. But Egypt came out and they are talking about a dam that Ethiopia is trying to build. Essentially, Ethiopia is working on a dam on the Nile, in energy source, etc., water source. The president of Egypt, not a big fan. I guess that this dam has been discussed for several years. Ethiopia is just proceeding and building on it. But today, Egypt came out with the strongest statement yet that they've made. The exact quote is, "Instability that nobody can imagine," end quote. That's coming from the Egyptian president, and he's saying that if this dam actually gets filled and gets put into operation, the region will see instability that no one can imagine. So a very stark comment there from him. Of course, that has global trade implications. It has energy implications. Egypt is not a part of OPEC, but still instability in the region. Obviously, not a super bullish oil type move, etc. I'm trying to see what else. Then let's do one fun piece of news for us today, and then we will get into the stock ideas. Let me pull this one out. If you guys remember, the big thing that we were dealing with yesterday, all right, the big thing we were trying to overcome was related to this Cathie Wood Space ETF. Let me go ahead and pull that one up. It's ARKX, I believe. There it is. Let's get a one-day chart. It just started. That's a boring. Okay. All right. Not putting up a chart of that one. All right, but the big item, the big hurdle we were trying to get over yesterday was we have this new Cathie Wood Space ETF. A lot of the holdings made sense to us. There were a couple which didn't. If you guys recall, Netflix and the Space ETF, we were trying to figure it out. I saw people saying, well, maybe it's because Netflix has space documentaries. There's your space exposure. On a more serious note, some people suggested the streaming technology that they have. But there's the deal with that one. The other one that sort of tripped us up a little bit, John Deere. John Deere is in that Cathie Wood Space ETF. We were wondering what the hell are they going to be building tractors for Mars. Is that why John Deere is here? But check this out on my screen. John Deere having some fun with this one. Look at what John Deere tweeted. They said, "We'll be ready." with regard to them being a space play. I mean, obviously it's all tongue-in-cheek, but very much fun to see a company like this, to see John Deere, put out something like that and say, all right, space, we're coming for you. So there's the move there. All right, guys, let's get into, let's do this. I'm gonna line up our next little bit of time. So we're gonna hit two tickers out of the chat. We're gonna hit XL Fleet, and then we're also gonna hit Palantir. Two interesting ones today, and then I'm gonna do two trade ideas. Right, I'm gonna reiterate, double down on two stock trade ideas that I have, and then we'll make another decision as to what we want to do next.
Luke, can I hop on and say something real quick?
Yeah.
It's been like I don't know, 5 minutes. We have 558 people watching, and I've yet to receive a single phone call. So I need you guys to tell me if this isn't working or are you guys just not calling. So drop a 1 or if you've tried calling and it just hasn't worked, or just drop a 2 if you don't feel like calling. But if not, then call.
512 70 47. Okay.
Luke, we're about to get you like 3 times.
All right, I'm just calling in to pitch a stock. Okay? All right, I'm on the phone lines. I want to pitch a stock. All right, I said I've got 4 ideas for today. I'm going to do the first one of 4. All right? I'm doubling down on my Leslie's call. Ticker LESL, Lima Echo Sandy Lima. All right, the thesis for this one is that they are having what is historically their slowest quarter of the year. But then they got this nice freeze over in Texas and the southern half of the U.S. We saw pipes burst. We called stores that people were not able to get supplies. It was originally a Chris Camillo pick. The estimates have not reflected it. The stock price was flat when I got in. The stock price has since sold off. And for that reason, I specifically think that now is a good entry for Leslie's into earnings. I typically don't buy stock into earnings specifically unless I have a good thesis for it. And again, there's the catalyst. I think we're going to see very strong top-line numbers out of Leslie's into the Q1 report. We'll get that within the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks or so. Stock is depressed, doubling down on the Leslie's call. All right. How's that, Producer Rohan?
That was pretty great.
Okay. Wow. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot easier to do that when you don't have to be like looking at camera and smiling. You can just be pacing around and doing your thing. Okay? Yeah, let's look at it. Okay, so nobody wanted to call.
Hey, we have a call coming now. Should we bring him on?
Mm-hmm.
What's up? You're on the Power Hour.
Yo, you need a call in, I'm calling.
All right, let's hear it. What's up?
Let's talk about NIO. It's dropping. Are we gonna go up because of good old Biden, or what's going on?
All right, let's pull up the chart. I'm going to throw this on the screen here. We're talking about NIO, ticker NIO. Let's go back. So, all right, these are daily
WAFU
candles.
has got a lot of my attention right now.
What does?
WAFU has a lot of my attention right now, so that's why no one's calling in.
I love it. All right. I mean, this NIO bounce looks decent. I like the support it looks like it's put in. Plus, you have this news coming out of Infrastructure Week with the Chargers. I sort of like NIO right here. Where are you at with it?
I am at 37.50 on that, but I'm
like
waiting, hoping today it'll go up.
Is it a day trade or a swing trade or what?
It's going to be a swing trade. I'm hoping for overnight with Biden it jumps to $39.40.
All right, well, we'll see. I mean, from a swing trade perspective, I think the thing looks good. You've got positive news around it. You don't have any sort of earnings risk coming out, or really news risk in general. I don't foresee there being a ton of China comments. Plus, you got some really strong support built in there. I sort of like this one as a swing trade.
All right, so you like it for a swing?
All right, I like it for a swing. I'm gonna throw this out to the chat. If you guys like NIO right here, Zinger Nation, give us the ones. If not, throw us the 2. And we'll see where everybody's at with it. And what's your name, man?
It's Quinn.
Quinn, thank you so much for calling in. I was getting bored all.
Yeah, you bet, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Boom, there it is.
There we go. We got our call.
All right, shout out Quinn, representing Zinger Nation. We got a lot of people in Europe, I guess, who can't make the dials. And the chat is pretty mixed on this one. We've got a mixed bag on the NIO. Again, guys, the question was, NIO, you like it or not? 1, if you like the stock right here. 2, if you do not. The group is pretty mixed on it.
Should we take another?
Let's do it. Let's rip it, baby.
What's up? You're on the Power Hour.
Oh, fantastic. How's it going, man?
We're doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing great. Doing great. My name's Kyle. Let's jump right into it. Let's check out CLSK.
Clean Spark.
Clean Spark.
All right. What are you thinking?
Okay, so these guys are not only a Bitcoin play, but they also develop software to run microgrid technology. And with all of this infrastructure talk and what just happened down in Texas with the big storm, these guys have a pretty good solution to knock that kind of stuff off from happening. So it's a little bit of both. It's a nice balance between crypto, blockchain, and infrastructure.
So do you know this stock well?
I've just been researching it over the past, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks.
Do they make revenue from the microgrid system right now?
That's a good question. I am not sure if that's. I think this is a forward-looking technology.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's sort of interesting. I've Jason Raznick, I believe, is still in this one. Which, if you guys notice, Jason's not here this week. He says the viewer count is too low, so that's why you need to like and share the stream. All right, throwing that one out there. Just as I got my new soundboard now. Yeah, there we go. That's a good one. But yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of interesting. Does the stock move with crypto? Do you know with the price of Bitcoin?
Yes, it follows Bitcoin pretty closely. They just had an offering at $22 a share 2 weeks ago, I think, and with that money, they bought a bunch of miners. They don't have them up and running yet, but I think they're expected to get those up and running in June or July, and so they'll continue to follow Bitcoin pretty closely with the added buffer of this microgrid software tech, which I think, who knows, man? I don't know. It's promising long term.
Yeah, and shout out Ruel in the chat who just celebrated a birthday on Monday. Saying that they do make money from the microgrids right now. The thing that I think is most interesting about this company, and basically their pitch of the microgrid system is, we're going to be able to provide energy way cheaper than anybody else can, right? That's what they're going for. And they came out and they said, in order to prove that to everybody, we're going to mine Bitcoin cheaper than anybody else can mine Bitcoin. We're going to put our money where our mouths are. We're going to get some of that crypto exposure. And then we're going to show the world that we can do this so cheaply by mining Bitcoin really cheap. So I sort of like, if you're saying it's June when they're going to have those Bitcoin mining machines online, I sort of like getting into that June catalyst. I'm not in it right now, but I'll throw that one down on the watch list.
That's pretty convenient for them too, to be like, all right, we're gonna use Bitcoin as like a proof of case, but then they also happen to get Bitcoin from it, so it can't hurt.
All right,
yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
Kyle, man, I appreciate it. Any others?
Yeah, thanks, Luke. You're badass.
Thanks, dude. All right, and I'm going to throw this one out to Zinger Nation as well. We did it for Neo. If you guys like Clean Spark here, last price I have $23.70. If you like the stock, throw the 1 in the chat. If not, throw the 2. Let's get the creative juices flowing, right? That's what Zinger Nation is all about. Let's get the ideas. Let's get the feedback loop. I'm seeing the tickers flow in the chat. I love it. Like HOFV keeps popping up. We'll look at that one real quick. Hall of Fame Resorts. I don't know. I'm going to be honest here. I don't really want to because the company's awesome. I think the jig is a little bit up. I don't know what other news they can have, right? Like, the news is already out. We already got the pop. Maybe it turns into a PR engine and there's more and more news that comes out. But I think a lot of the news is already out in this one. So if you're looking at it for like a short-term 100% move, I wouldn't expect to see it. It's a really interesting company, so if you're looking at it for a long-term 100% move, I can totally get that. But I don't know. That's where I'm at with Hall of Fame. All right, and Kyle's stock, Clean Spark, definitely a favorite of the chat. Let's go. A lot of ones in there for Clean Spark. Again, the question was 1, if you like Clean Spark right here, and then 2, if you do not. And again, let's test out the soundboard.
That's hot. That's hot.
All right, that's hot. I like it. And one more.
Yay, capitalism.
Okay, that's a good one too. All right, guys. Let's keep it ripping. I'll go through. I promise you guys I have 4 stocks that I currently own in the live portfolio. Let's click over to that. We haven't checked out the live portfolio yet today, but looking pretty decent. I'll take so SPY's up how much today? SPY's up a decent bit today, reapproaching those all-time highs. We're making some good money in the daily P&L and the live portfolio. But let's talk about a couple stocks that I'm in already right now. I want to do some more conviction on. General Motors. This is one that I'm going to throw out again. This is sort of a swing trade play for me, ticker GM. You can see we bought the stock several weeks ago. It's basically been flat, right? 2.5% change since we got into the ticker. Couple of things going on for GM. The electric Hummer. I don't necessarily love it as a product, but I do think it's interesting as a stock catalyst. The company has already signaled to us that they are going to spend a ton of money advertising that electric Hummer that's coming out. We saw last night NCAA tournament. They've been advertising like crazy over there. I'm sure those are not cheap commercial spots to buy. It's sort of like a tier 2 if we're coming down from the Super Bowl. And then pre-orders for that start in April. The end of April is when there's going to be pre-orders, so we might get some very positive PR of, hey, we ran out of pre-orders in one day, the site crashes, that sort of thing. Whenever I am getting into a position, I always look at two things, right? I've got my story, my catalyst, and then I also have the numbers behind it. So from the number side of things, the stock is trading at just below 8 times EV to EBITDA. So it's pretty darn cheap. And actually trading cheaper than a lot of its auto peers. So even if we get the catalyst wrong, it does not get a pop from that electric Hummer. We're not going to get cracked in the name, so that was part of the impetus for getting into the trade. And then again, let's see if we get some positive headline momentum behind it. EVs in general haven't been as hot as like your cryptos or your NFTs. But again, I like that they signaled they're going to spend money on it. They're following through. We're seeing that ad spend come through. Does that drive some buzz in the stock? We have the pre-orders coming up. That's sort of why I'm in this one for a swing trade. And again, the numbers look okay. So even if we get the thesis wrong, we should be still okay with the stock. And all right, I also want to recap Ripster, Rippy Rip, favorite of the chat, favorite of the FinTwit community. If you guys do not follow him, it's Ripster47 on Twitter. Make sure you do that. He's one of the best educators out there. Yesterday, he was talking about SPY, okay? And he specifically into the upcoming month. So Ripster, a lot of times he gives us some nice swing trades. Yesterday, he was going a little bit more macro with things. He was talking just higher level market. Right now, he said he's a lot of cash. He did give us some favorite stocks right now. Let me see if I pulled this page out of my sheet. I can give you the stocks that he talked about yesterday, too. So he gave us 2 stocks, so I'll go over each of those in a second. Yesterday, 2 stocks for a swing trade. But his bigger point was he wants to see the S&P 500 or SPY close above 398 tomorrow, April 1st. Basically, he said he's zooming out to the monthly candles on the S&P 500. He wants to see a nice, strong green candle. Let's start the month off at all-time highs. If the S&P enters the month, at all-time highs, we go into that long weekend. He thinks that generally it's bullish. It's suggesting that the rest of the month will follow. If not, we start the month off with weakness. He's going to have issues. So there's the deal there, guys. Yesterday, there were so many comments in the chat that saying that SPY is not going to get to 398. We were 393-ish or so when he was on yesterday, maybe even 392. Today, we are right there, right within striking distance, right at that all-time high on the S&P 500. So again, guys, just recapping that segment from Ripster yesterday. He wants to see, looking at the monthly charts, a nice, solid green candle on the first day of the month, see the index at all-time highs and carry some momentum through the rest of the month. I just teased that I would give his 2 swing trades that he dumped on us yesterday. Tickers were AMPG, Alpha Mike Papa Golf, and LVGO, Lima Victor Golf Oscar. Somebody in Zinger Nation, somebody out there in the chat, type those tickers into the chat for your fellow Zingers who I went too quickly for, so they can have those ideas as well. I'm not in either of those. I guess let's take a quick look at the charts. AMPG. Oops. There's the warrants. There's the stock. All right, so AMPG, that was the one, and I recall this one. This was the one that he was definitely more bullish on. Here's a 1-year chart, daily candles. said wants to see this thing break out again, and then LVGO is the other one. Nope, LGVO, LivVGO. All right, somebody help me out with this ticker. It's Livingo, Livingo. It's the biotech stock. Somebody will know what it is. If you know what it is, help me out. And somebody else, Nate, saying he's got another joke about John Deere. I would love to hear that. But all right, guys, it is time for us to bring a very special guest onto the Power Hour. It is 12:30. If you're just joining us, just a quick little preview of what's ahead. I promise today I'm going to do. I've got 4 stocks to pitch, 4 stocks that I currently own in the live portfolio. That's a live account that we look at every single day. Try to make all of our trades in here for the sake of being transparent, guys. So I talked through 2 of them. I have 2 more. We are going to be bringing on the CEO of ENG Global at 1 o'clock Eastern. And, of course, we are going to keep cruising with trade ideas. But without further ado, I am going to bring our special guest onto the stream. Sylvia, what's up? Welcome to the Power Hour. We are glad to have you here.
Hi, great to be here. How's it going?
So far, so good. It's a short week. The sun is shining. I do need to go. Yeah, Jesus. I looked behind myself and saw something I didn't want to see. Hold on 1 second. Spencer, why did Airbnb not tell me then? All right, sorry. I had to adjust that. University of Michigan basketball last night, they lost. I had to get that out of the frame. Bad omen for the day, bad omen for my trading. So thanks for bearing with me there. But what's up with you? I guess I really didn't give you a full intro. So could you talk to us a little bit about your background, about Defiance, and then let's dig into some of these funds.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. So I am the CIO of Defiance ETFs, and we're basically a fintech asset management firm. ETFs is one of the things that we do. We do a few other things and have a couple other business lines. But for our talk today, the purpose of that is going to be around the ETFs. So we think about things in terms of the next generation investor, the next generation products, themes, innovation, technology, and disruption. So everything that we do is catered to creating products in those spaces, trying to make them as cheap as possible, and pretty much, introduce and welcome them to the new generation of traders that really attack the market this year and have us excited about trading again.
All right, I like it. I've got 2 specific funds that I was hoping to dive into today. I want to do hydrogen. I also wanted to do 5G. Do you have a specific place you would prefer starting?
We can start with hydrogen if that works for you.
All right, let's start with hydrogen. So I guess first things first. I guess tell us about the sector. What made you guys want to launch the fund? Was it from customer demand? Is it forward looking? You see this as the next frontier? Where all did that come from?
So super forward looking. Some of the companies that are in the hydrogen fund and other products out there have been around for a long time, but there hasn't really been this actual focus on investing in the space. So right now, the investment in hydrogen is in the $150 to $200 billion mark, and that's poised to grow to about 11 trillion by 2050. So, before that was just sort of a nice idea and a number, but now things are actually happening. So basically technology exists to utilize, store, transfer hydrogen and use it as an energy source. The costs are going down, and it's a big priority for global governments. So, the Saudis just pumped 700 million into it. The EU came out and said that they're going to invest 2 trillion in coming years. The US, a couple hundred million. So, there's this big focus on becoming carbon neutral by 2050. And I think that, now that, we sort of have this new president in office, and he's committing to infrastructure spend, and, so much of his focus is going to be around climate and things like that. I just think it's really the time for hydrogen, and it's a, nascent sector. So we came out with the first hydrogen ETF. It's the cheapest one too. It's 30 bips, and we're basically giving you access to the companies that generate their revenues from hydrogen or fuel cell technology.
Awesome. And if you guys are just joining us, we did get a little bit of news from Infrastructure Week this week. We know that at least EV charging networks are going to be a part of that, so it definitely speaks towards the push towards green energy, green infrastructure. And so, Sylvia, can you talk to us a little bit about the stock selection that's in the fund? Is it U.S.-based? Is it global, small stocks, large stocks? How involved in hydrogen are they, et cetera?
Yeah, sure. So it's there actually aren't that many pure plays out there in the market. So the index has 25 holdings, and we're giving you access to the pure play names. So some of the examples of that would be Plug Power. So Plug Power now, for example, they use hydrogen fueled engines and cranes and forklifts and things like that being used by companies like Amazon, NASA, Home Depot. They're trying to, again, lower their emissions and their carbon footprint in their warehouses. So that already exists. You've got tickers like Fuel in there, which is basically they store, transfer, process, create hydrogen for use. So you're looking at companies like that, basically that have some sort of research, implementation, or use of hydrogen or fuel cell technology. They're global, so most of the names are domestic, but you do have some overseas names in there, and namely in the countries that have invested a lot in this. So UK is in there, South Korea. You've got some China in there, and it's basically giving you access to all the companies that are on the forefront of hydrogen technology.
Okay, awesome. And like going off what you just mentioned, right? There's not a ton of pure play hydrogen stocks yet. So I imagine that we will have new entrants into the market. We will also have companies that are trying to get it going, just can't, and go bust. So how often is the ETF being rebalanced? Are we seeing new stocks in there, stocks exit, et cetera?
Yeah, so that's a great point. I mean, I think we're always sort of going to look at the universe of available names in there, and if there's an appropriate name that sort of is big enough and liquid enough and is true to that 50% of its revenue or more from hydrogen and fuel cell technology, it'll get added. On the other hand, if there's a company that, for example, stops investing or stops doing research and falls below that revenue line, they would probably get removed from the index. So, you have your rebalance cycles and whatnot, but the constituents in this index are going to be reviewed, looked at least on a monthly basis, and there's a reconstitution, of course, annually, and then regular rebalances along the way.
Awesome. And guys, we have the ticker in the chat there. Again, it's Hotel Delta Romeo Oscar. That's HDRO. All right. And anything else that we should talk about with regard to hydrogen? As I do want to talk about 5G a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it's really interesting since we came out with this product. There's been so much interest in it, and so much of that interest is coming from people who work in the space of, environmental sciences and things like that. And people in sort of like the finance and trading world, I think they sort of like the idea of it, but had, kind of like no idea what it is and what it actually does. So I think it's cool to know that, there are cars that are powered by hydrogen, through fuel cell technology. Again, cranes, machines, things like that being used by the biggest companies in the S&P 500 to go carbon neutral. There was just like a motorboat being tested in Japan cool. Last weekend. Yeah, using hydrogen fuel cell technology. So it's really everywhere, and it's just interesting enough. Like, quick fact, it's the most abundant element in the universe. It has to be isolated. So essentially through the process of electrolysis, you're separating hydrogen from oxygen, and then through transfer of a fuel cell, you're separating electrons and protons, and when hydrogen and oxygen meet on the other side, they create water, which is essentially non-toxic, whereas 90% of the fossil fuels that we use right now are harmful to the environment. The aftermath of the hydrogen process is water. So definitely high hopes for how well it will impact the environment if it could be used as an energy source going forward.
And at the top of the segment, you threw out a number. I think it was like a 2025 size of the market. Can you give us that one again?
Yeah, actually, 2050 size is 11
2050,
trillion.
okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 11 trillion, and we're at like 150 to 200 billion, depending on sort of the day. But you just keep hearing these announcements come out daily, like this country's putting another 50 million in, this country's putting a couple of billion in and whatnot. So it is, it is definitely on the forefront of the minds of global leaders to become carbon neutral. And the cool thing is hydrogen can actually be used as an energy source, and there's enough of it for the population to consume. So things like solar, water, wind energy, like that stuff is obviously amazing. It's being utilized now. Other forms of alternative energy, clean energy, and things like that. But it can't really support the growth of our population going forward. So it's actually a viable energy source for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, and it's been like a hot topic for the past couple weeks, especially on the show. It's like we've had a handful of people in who have talked about either individual stocks, the sector as a whole, etc. I still don't have exposure. I think maybe I should. It's for me, it's not a space that I know well, and that's why like a product like this is compelling for me. Is okay. I don't know the space well. Like very sciencey stocks, I typically avoid just because I think that I'm at a competitive disadvantage in those names. And so I like the idea of just having sector exposure in general.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's a great point. And if you look at some of these like plug and fuel, like last year, I mean, they were up triple digits in some cases. So performance is definitely there. And you make a great point. Like, I'm not a scientist either, right? We want to avoid that single stock lack of diversification risk when we put this in our portfolios. I think ETFs are a good way to go.
Yep, I like it. And again, guys, ticker HDRO, Hotel Delta Romeo Oscar. Somebody in Zinger Nation out there, drop the ticker in the chat. Help me out. Help your fellow Zingers out. And then can we talk about 5G for a second too?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so 5G is a space that I do have some individual stock exposure. I think that it's a super interesting space. I became a believer when I got the new iPhone that had 5G on it. But before that, I was like, LTE 4G, it's pretty fast, but like, what do I need to upgrade for? I was like, holy shit, wow. This is blazing fast. And like the pitch that I had been hearing of, hey, they're not going to need to dig internet lines into homes anymore to give people internet. There's 5G is fast enough to support all your Wi-Fi and home computing needs. It made sense to me. Like it was fast enough that I was like, okay, yes, this is compelling. So I'm curious where you're at with 5G, and then can you talk about what is in the fund in particular? Because it seems like every company has some sort of 5G exposure, or is it pure plays like some of the hardware providers? Is it the big telecom names, etc.?
Yeah, sure. So interestingly enough, so 5G was one of the first launches that we had at Defiance, and it's over $1 billion now. So the amount, and most of that growth has happened over the last year, by the way, and that interest. And the way that we thought about it and sort of like why we launched it, we always try to think about the next generation, right? Like what is going to disrupt communications? What is going to disrupt energy? What is going to disrupt, like the tech names, the classic old school software technology companies. So if you look at the major communications ETF products out there and just some of the names in that space, they're like Google, they're Facebook, they're sort of, social media companies and things like that, but which is awesome because they've done really well. But if you want access to pure communication, like, telecom, router providers, broadband networks, cell towers, REITs essentially that have the real estate to build the cell towers and things like that, mobility, chips and things like that. That's what we consider actually what will power the future of communication and 5G. So as you said, Apple came out with the iPhone, and I think that's the first time that like it almost became a real thing to people. Yep. You can turn on the phone and you see that little, yeah, right. And like, and actually it's funny because people point out to me too, like, yeah, I got the new iPhone, but it still says 4G, right? So it does depend on where you live, and it also shows you that this is still a growing thing, right? It's just sort of
the takeaway here is everybody should come move to Detroit, drive up our property values a little bit. That would help me out, and you'll get some nice 5G. So
exactly, right. You get faster communications and whatnot. So I agree with you too. I noticed the difference right away. So what does that mean though? Like that will impact every industry that we know. It'll impact AI, driverless cars. It'll impact the healthcare industry and the ability for like doctors, researchers, whatever it might be around the world to share information within seconds that might impact the outcome of a decision that they make in patient care. It'll allow us to share information globally, again, very efficiently and quickly. It's going to affect the way that we communicate and the speed at which we communicate. So what it will do is essentially it's that next generation of communications. Everything will be sort of faster, more efficient, and universally available because of the 5G network and all the companies that go into it. So what's in it? You've got like analog devices, NXP, Qualcomm, Nokia, AT&T, Skyworks. You've got You've got Crown Castle, which is like a REIT company. So it's giving you access to, and it's really interesting too, because if you look at like the banks and when they write about communication and 5G, a lot of them take different approaches. Like I saw a Morgan Stanley piece where they were saying that, the future of communications and like where you have to put all your money is cell towers, right? And then another bank comes out and says it's definitely chips, right? Because we need chips for the speed, we need chips for the routers to work, and AI and all that kind of stuff, and the driverless car thing, machine learning, big data processing. So all of these things go into 5G and what a 5G company is. So our index is actually pretty broad based. I mean, there's well over 150 names in there, and you're getting access to all of these different disruptive sort of trends that go into making 5G work.
Yeah, and I noticed that you have two of my favorite stocks in there. One of them I own, and it's in the long-term portfolio. It's not like a swing trade stock for me, but ticker INSG. India, November, Sandy Gulf. I'm getting killed on it. Well,
it's a good one, though. It's a good one to own.
Yeah, exactly. So my pitch on it basically is I think that it just makes more sense that Comcast does not have to dig a line into my home to give me internet. Inseego enables my house to get that 5G infrastructure, beam it back out as Wi-Fi for all my devices. And so that's why I really like that one. And I love that you know that stock too. Nobody knows that stock.
Yeah, I love that stock too, and I'm getting a little bit hammered on that one too. But I think a lot of that is also just like what's been going on with growth and the 10-year one, and some of these names are being like inexplicably, I think, harmed in the near term, and chip shortage and stuff like that. But totally agree with you. I mean, Inseego is pretty much the brains behind the operation, so it's a great stock to look at.
All right, well, it's one of those stocks that I know amazingly well. We don't have time today. But one day, guys, everybody out there in the chat, I'm going to do a full history of Inseego in how Trump crashed the stock 50% but ended up saving the company. That's my teaser for it. Basically, they had a deal on the table with China. It got killed by Trump, and it ended up being amazing for the company long term that it got killed. So we'll do a full history there. And everybody in the chat's asking, I forgot to give the ticker, FIVG. Foxtrot India Victor Golf, and Sylvia, I don't know if you're involved in the website at all, but you guys have like the best website ever.
Yeah,
I give amazing.
I give full credit to Jacob Ingram, who's our chief marketing officer. He's awesome. It's super high tech, and I think it fits the spirit of what we do really well.
All right, and I see Neil, who's our marketing guy, is in the chat watching too. So Neil, check out the Defiance ETF website. It's a good one. But awesome, Sylvia. Thanks for coming on today. We're talking hydrogen.
Thanks for
we're talking 5G. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Yeah, Ruel, nice teaser. There we go. I'm not even being discreet with that one. No, Neil is a marketing guy. He's our CMO, okay? Chief Marketing Officer. Is marketing a real thing, or is that like a fake thing? I don't know. But anyways,
motherfucker.
All right. Just testing the soundboard randomly. Again, we got hundreds of new sounds. You're hearing them all for the first time, just like I am. But all right, guys, let's get back to it. I'm gonna preview the rest of the show if you're just joining us. CEO of N Global joining us at 1 o'clock Eastern. So that's about 10 minutes from now. I promised 4 stock pitches today. I already did 2. I'll do one more before we get into our next guest. And then also let's look at Palantir. PLTR. Let's look at Palantir. And guys, like the stream, share this stream. Like I said earlier, with a heavy heart. We don't have Jason with us this week. He's saying that the viewership is too low to be worth his time. I like having Jason here. When he's not here, I typically have to go for 2 hours straight. And I get tired doing that. Okay. And then also let's put the speculation to rest about the Pepsi versus the Coke thing. I go both ways. Okay. I'm a switch hitter. Say what you will about with me, but Neil knows I go both ways. I did in fact buy 3 Pepsis before coming on today to keep hydrated. I do also have the Red Bull. I don't think this counts even as an energy drink, but it's like a mixer more than anything. But all right, guys, let's hop into it with Palantir, stock idea, guest, rapid fire, 10 minutes on the clock. Testing a new sound to kick this one off. Let's hear it.
Do you understand what love means?
Boom. All right. Let's go. Palantir, stock pitch, guest, 10 minutes. Having some strength finally out of Palantir. Thank God. Let's look at the stock, the position that we have in the live account right here that we look at every single day. Palantir. There it is. Wait. We saw puts against this thing? Why are we getting... Wait a minute here. We do covered calls on Palantir, or do we sell puts? April 16, 2021.
How do you not remember? Don't you have a spreadsheet?
No, I don't have a spreadsheet. Neil, I've got a brokerage account.
Get out one of your cute spreadsheets.
All right, -3. We collected $286. So it must have been that I thought that we sold puts against it. I'm almost certain that we sold puts against the stock. Stock's up today. Why? Oh, duh. I'm an idiot. We sold puts against the stock. Stock is up. The puts are down. We're short the puts. So that nets us up. Neil, do not go anywhere. You're coming back on. All right, so that's what we did. Yes, thank you. People in the chat know my trades better than myself. Sorry, okay, it's been a long day already. I had my first call this morning was at 7 a.m. Eastern, which means I was here by 6:45. All right, with the brokerage you work with in China. But yes, I sold the 22 strike puts. Stock getting some love. Again, the trade here, you sell puts, it makes you synthetically long the stock. $22 strike. We got paid, let's see, 92 cents, $92 a contract to sell these puts. If the stock gets to April 16th, it's above $22, we take our $92 per contract. It's in our brokerage account. We say, yay. Okay. And then we go on to our next trade and keep it rolling from there. All right. Spencer Israel is dying right now, too. We just bring the whole gang on. This is a rambunctious time. No Jason this week, all right? All right. So there's the deal. Palantir, I'm down with it. If it stays above that 22, great. If it goes below 22, we're effectively buying the stock for $21. I like the strength that we're seeing today. It's been a while since we've had a day like this on Palantir. Here's the 5-day chart. Here's a 1-month chart. So still a good deal off of the highs. I'm holding this one long, not touching the position. Throwing it to Zinger Nation. If you guys like Palantir at this price, $23.60, drop me the 1 in the chat. If not, throw me the 2. I want to see where everyone is at. And we'll try another sound.
This bozo over here.
Oh, Neil, that was for you, baby. All right. and then I promised I would do a stock pitch, too. All right, I thought I was going to be doing this solo, but I just had 2 randos hop onto my show for me, which I appreciate.
You're fired.
And so, yeah, I'm on point. You guys got me fired up now, okay? All right, I'm going to pitch a stock. I already own the stock. It's already in the live portfolio. I'm going to pitch it again. I'm going to say why I still like this thing. Neil and Spencer are going to criticize me. Ready for the ticker SCHW. That's Sandy Charlie Hotel Whiskey. Charles Schwab, that's right, your favorite broker. Talk to Chuck. I don't know if they still use that tagline, but there we go.
I thought you were
Why would we criticize you?
I thought you were going to say Monster, MNST.
I thought that's gone. Doesn't that go to Coke? MNST?
No, it's still
All
around.
right, whatever. All right, Charles Schwab. Okay, I know.
Financial
Not Celsius. Screw Celsius. We'll talk about that one tomorrow, maybe. Okay. All right, but Charles Schwab. Basically, here's why I like the stock, guys. At Benzinga, right? We get 15 million people a month reading about stock market information. A lot of the traffic that we get comes from the online brokerages. We saw a huge spike. Traffic literally doubled when GameStop happened. I'll show you guys the numbers tomorrow. I'm putting it on the list. BZ.com numbers, because that speaks, it's like a general indicator. The amount of traffic we get is an indicator for how much stock market interest there is. And so traffic went crazy when GameStop happened. It has remained elevated, which tells me that the online brokers are seeing continued high interest. So they not only opened a ton of accounts, they're going to have a ton of trade activity, a ton of interest on any content that we do has to do with options. The brokerages do make a lot of money from options. And so that's why I like Charles Schwab. I like it into the earnings report. And then also, you guys know that I'm more defensive than less defensive right now, right? I'm not all out, 200% margin. Yes, do I have a little bit of margin in the account? It sort of pains me. Here's the live account. We scroll down, we see, negative $15,000 of cash, right? So we got some margin.
Wait,
but I want to be.
Do you think you're sharing your screen right now, bro?
Yeah, you're not.
Oh, Spencer Israel came on and took it away. All right, so we do have some margin, right? Not great, okay. But whatever. That's the reality of the situation. I don't love the situation I'm in, and I actually like Charles Schwab as a defensive stock. Okay, we saw the world get spooked when rates rose. What's one of the big ways that Charles Schwab makes money? It's effectively a bank. When interest rates go up, they make more money. So I think you've got two things going on for it. Plus the multiples, the valuation is not crazy by any sort of means. So you've got what I think are going to be a strong numbers in this next quarterly report. Plus you have some of that interest rate defensiveness. And so there's the deal. That's why I like Charles Schwab right now. And
don't get technical with me.
Don't get technical with me.
Dude. Luke.
All right, drop the mic. Wait.
What's up,
You're
Spencer?
playing with fire. We just went through it. We just had this discussion yesterday.
Where did you get that clip? What is that from?
What?
That's some bullshit.
Eat my shorts.
Oh
my god.
Okay, I made a commitment not to do the soundboard thing because I thought it's like Luke is the carrot top of stock analysis. All right, he's the carrot top of financial media. I choose not to be a prop based presenter. What, Spencer? What?
We just got not yelled at, but a written warning from YouTube. But please chill with the copyrighted sound drops. So Luke.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn.
Oh my god, Luke! We've got our next guest in the waiting room. This is a horrible first impression. I have to say.
All right. I'll leave you to it, Spencer.
Oh my god! Now you're gonna throw it to me. Fantastic. All right. This show went off the rails here in the last minute. I apologize.
I think we finally found him.
we found this show.
I feel like myself. Okay, being
exactly.
a show by yourself because Jason bailed on you is not easy, all right? So I appreciate the camaraderie that you guys brought today.
I'm here for you. I saw you drinking Pepsi. I started to get worried, baby. I had to come in.
Yes, thank you. If anybody wants to come on and guest host the Power Hour tomorrow, 4-day week, Power Hour at Benzinga.com or Spencer Israel at Benzinga.com. Those are the email addresses. Drop the line. I need a co-host tomorrow. Unless Neil's down. But
God. Just give it an email to the internet, man. Thank you. For that.
Sean, it does count as fair use. I don't know why they're striking us.
Yeah, I think it's fair use too. I don't know what that is.
All right. Anyway.
All right, time for a guest.
All right,
we'll take it.
All right, guys. Previewing what's ahead. We've got back-to-back awesome guests that are coming up. I'm going to throw it over to my main man Spencer Israel. Take it away, buddy.
Thanks a lot, guys. All right.